Hello. Welcome back. It's been a little bit of a hiatus, not intentional at all, but we are back here on the Have You Seen podcast. I am your host, Mike Bibs, on Twitter at Bibs Corner, joined by, I'm gonna just call him the co-host for the time being, Tyler Lennon, at Tyler_Lennon on Twitter. Or X, I don't know what we're calling it.
I was about to say, is it still Twitter? I don't know.
I mean, I'm looking because I pulled up Twitter to send you the link on my browser, and it has the giant X, and it says X notifications. Like,
Elon just can't. I don't know.
He just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Is
right.
Should be the mantra, but he's just finding ways to make this app worse.
Yeah. As
we go along, but you know what? I'm still here. I put too much energy into this app. So.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm sticking with it. It's far too late.
Whatever iteration of it remains at the end of the day is where I will be. So if I'm an Xer now instead of a tweeter, then it is what it is.
We're rolling with.
You can follow the show on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. X gonna give it to you at Have You Seen SCENE Pod. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit frustrated by this Elon stuff when I think about it.
Yeah, that's my fault. Should have got us on this tangent. That's my bad.
We're here today to talk about They Cloned Tyrone, the biggest movie of the weekend, from what I've heard. And Barbenheimer weekend, we're coming out with the They Cloned Tyrone review. You know, it is what it is. I saw Oppenheimer. You don't plan to see either of these movies anytime soon. Is that correct?
No, I'm not going unless. No, I'm not going.
Okay. I will tell you that Oppenheimer is certainly 3 hours. They did not lie about that runtime. I definitely checked my watch a couple of times during that film, and that is all you might. Again, quality film. Nolan is a great director, a legend in the game, if you will, but it's a 3 hour movie about a womanizing scientist. So
I feel bad because you think I have all people, like every single time we do a podcast, granted it's usually like horror, but I'm like, dude, go to the theater, go support horror in theaters, go support the theater. You think I have all people be like, yeah, I'm going just to support theater, but instead I'm actively choosing to watch the Netflix movie instead. A rare W for Netflix, by the way.
Hey, $230 million in the box office for these two movies. They seem to have done okay. So
yeah, they're doing just fine without me. I almost made a joke, but I'm growing. I'm not going to make these types of jokes anymore, but much like other things, they're doing fine without me. Yeah, they're doing fine without me.
It is interesting though, because I do think that I enjoyed They Cloned Tyrone much more than I enjoyed Oppenheimer. Like, I'm not gonna watch Oppenheimer again. I'll definitely watch They Cloned Tyrone again if Netflix will cooperate, but we're not gonna diss Netflix in case they decide to throw the bag.
We got to get the Shutter bag first, but then we're coming for Netflix.
I mean, we got to send all these. I got to put together these press release emails, these please sponsor me emails. I got to put them together and start sending them out. Closed mouths don't get fed. Let's talk about it. They Cloned Tyrone, new Netflix release. This is a movie that I have personally been anticipating, which I usually don't do. Ever since the casting, I think they put out like a few photos when they announced the cast list, and I was like, Teyonah, Parris, I'm there. Jamie Foxx, Gravy, John Boyega, love them. Let's do it. Easy. I didn't care what it was about. I didn't.
Yeah, 100%.
Was that, you have a pretty similar experience as far as that goes?
Yeah, like you said, I mean, the cast alone is like, we're in there. And then I know you're not a trailer guy, but the first trailer I saw, here's a cheat code. Put Roxwell's Somebody's Watching Me in your trailer, and I will go see that movie. It never not works, especially like, you know, this movie is very foggy. It's very like it fits so well, and that was the song in the trailer. And I immediately was like, Teyonah, Parris, this song, Jamie Foxx, John Boyega, like, yes, I'm there. I'm seeing this movie, and I would behind only maybe The Blackening and Talk to Me, which comes out this week. Like, those are my three as far as excitement goes. Like, I was hyped for these movies, and Scream earlier in the year, but
that is interesting to hear. Hopefully we're on here next week talking about Talk to Me. I got to make sure my theater actually carries it. I am willing to go a little bit out of my range if I have to. And next Sunday I'll be in Florida, so I might have a better shot at getting to a good theater, depending on what time I get in. So we'll see. If it's not at my local one, I should say. Anyway, we mentioned John Boyega, Star Wars: The Force Awakens, kind of where he kind of broke through for mainstream audiences. Jamie Foxx, if you don't know who he is, I don't know what to tell you. Academy Award winner. Teyonah Parris, her, I guess, breakthrough would be WandaVision. I've been on her since Mad Men. She's from South Carolina. I always try to support the South Carolina actors and actresses. And she's going to make her real, I think, mainstream debut with the Marvels here later this year, I think. Did they move it back? I can't keep up.
I know every single episode I tell you I have like a new celebrity crush or a new number one. She's number one. It's Teyonah Parris. She is number one.
We might need to get you to lay out the actual rankings because we can't just have you saying everybody's number one. That's not how this works. We need to.
It's her. It's her.
The Marvels is November 10th. So yeah, that will be coming out this year. So a lot more people will be introduced to her. That will be a good thing. Additional cast: Keifer Sutherland from 24. David Alan Grier makes an appearance. Again, if you don't know who David Alan Grier is, I don't know what to tell you. The Wiz, In Living Color, whatever. And then Alphonse Nicholson, not really a big name yet, but he seems to be popping up more and more. He's currently in P-Valley, which is a show that I've seen people talk about a lot. I have not seen the show myself. Have you?
I have not.
Yeah, P-Valley's, he apparently is a regular in that show. And again, I've seen him in a few things. Recently, I was like, where do I know this guy from? I still didn't answer the question, but I expect to keep seeing him because he's been good the few times I've seen him. He plays the villain, I guess. First villain, the street villain in this show or in this movie. The movie is directed by Juel Taylor. Directorial debut, big screen directorial debut. He's done some TV episodes. I think the last one I saw on his IMDb was 20s, which is a show on Showtime that he directed. Mostly a writer up to this point. Got a screenplay credit on Creed 2. Wrote this with Joel Rettenmaier. They also both were writers for Shooting Stars, the LeBron movie that came out recently, and Space Jam: A New Legacy. So they have experience together, which I imagine makes doing a movie together a lot easier when you already know how the other person works.
Sounds like kind of LeBron's go-tos. That's a pretty clutch go-to to have. Be LeBron's guy.
You can get in a pocket with somebody like that, somebody with money that can bankroll you, like you're in a good place.
Dude, I gotta say, hell of a debut though.
I would say so. And I've seen like Matthew Cherry, a few writers and directors that I know and follow on Twitter with like giving him shout out saying like he's next, basically. Like keep an eye out for this individual. So between the shout outs, between the credits, I would say put Juel Taylor on your list as far as like somebody that might the next thing that he puts out will determine whether or not he's one of those ones that's coming up next. Getting back to that, this movie was chosen as part of the 2019 Blacklist. And unless you're a real movie nerd like myself, may not know what the Blacklist is, but it's an annual compendium of the most liked unproduced scripts. And so basically the way writing works is people write scripts, they send them to people give them notes, people take notes, studios talk about the movies behind the scenes. And I can't think of the guy's name now. I follow him on Twitter too. Damn it, whatever. But the guy basically puts together a list of the scripts that people are talking about behind the scenes. And a lot of those scripts end up getting picked up just from making this list. Jojo Rabbit was one of those movies. Argo was one of those movies. Juno was one of those movies. Like the list is legit, and studios look for this list every year to say, you know what, I've heard about this movie. Let me go ahead and send some money to these people so we can get this made. And then the last note I'm going to add: Jamie Foxx and David Alan Grier obviously worked together on In Living Color, so it was nice to see them in something together again.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have thought about that, but that's a good call.
Yeah. There's another tie-in, but it references something in the actual movie, so we'll wait for that. Let's see. Anything that you want to add as far as like just little notes that you picked up on along the way?
Yeah. I had a couple little notes that I got these today just reading articles, and one was interview with Juel Taylor, and he was asked about like influences and stuff like that. And a couple notes. One of them is something that I pointed out to you, so that was cool. The first one, I think you'll just appreciate this though. He mentioned music's a big influence, and like whether it be actual music or scores here and there, but a lot of his influence for the movie itself and the general vibe of it was music. He referenced a lot of 80s R&B and funk, which I'm a huge fan of that. So I was there. He listed Bootsy Collins, Patrice Rushen, love both of them. But he also mentioned Southern rap, and he mentioned 3-6 Mafia, UGK, and Big Crit. And as we're fellow Big Crit stands, I believe, right?
Oh yeah. Big Chris.
Yeah, so I thought you'd appreciate that. The other one he did list when asked what other movies he thought of as influence, he mentioned It Follows. And when you and I were watching the movie, I texted you and said that I got a big It Follows vibe from it, both in the sense that very timeless, where like things feel maybe a little dated, but also a little futuristic, and then just very foggy, almost like a dream type of feeling. And he mentioned both of those things specifically. So I was like, oh, look at me out here getting some stuff every now and then.
It's funny you mentioned there's one of the scripts that I worked on. I think I've mentioned it to you in the past, but like as I've been writing it, I have like Big Crit playing in the back of my head because I wanted to be set in Mississippi. I'm gonna go ahead and put Juel Taylor on my short list as a potential director.
Hell yeah.
All right. Anything else that you wanted to add?
No.
Okay, but yeah, those are all. I mean, the Bootsy Collins, that's obvious when you like from the first scene, like the way the music comes in. You mentioned the fact
a lot of the dialogue as well feels very like Bootsy Collins-esque.
Yeah, it's like almost has like a blaxploitation feel, and that's where you kind of are like, well, is this set in modern times? But like even in the first 5 minutes of the movie, the little kid, when they're in the car, he calls John Boyega's character a Squidward, and you're like, okay, so it must be modern. And then Teyonah Parris's character in her first scene mentions blockchain, so I was like, yeah, this is definitely set in modern times, but with like old school type characters, which is fun. And with the fogginess, the scratchiness, the itchiness of the film, it again makes it feel like it's an older movie than it is.
Which also like that because it's a very Southern thing, because to me there are a lot of places in the South that just feel like a little dated. And he even mentioned that one of his interviews, talking about like there's just a lot of communities in the South that don't have the resources to get past that, and I thought that was pretty cool to kind of put a light on that.
No, it definitely, because like if you do a movie like this and it's real bright and colorful and it doesn't hit the same, like by making it grimy like that, it made you feel like you were in a small town like this, which again, it worked. It added to the movie in a way. So what is the movie about? We've set up all this stuff. What's the movie about? A series of eerie events thrusts an unlikely trio onto the trail of a nefarious government conspiracy in this pulp mystery caper. Now, again, I did not watch any trailers at all. The fact that like there's the video of them getting on a elevator and like the guns and like, and the fact that it's called They Cloned Tyrone, like clearly conspiracy, blah blah blah. But in my head, I was just along for the ride. So like I'm taking this information on as it comes, and I enjoyed the way the ride went as far as like slowly uncovering things, but then giving you information, and then it comes to like how are they going to handle this detail. So I'm not mad that they put government conspiracy in the synopsis.
Yeah, I'm not either. I think and even in the trailer itself, it mentions conspiracy. I think somehow you can go ahead and say those things and it not spoil or ruin this movie in the slightest.
Okay. We already talked about expectations. Let's do these elevator reviews real quick for people that don't want to have the movie spoiled for them at all. Because as we get into a conversation about the movie, little things can come out that could spoil things. So elevator review, do you want to go first?
You got it.
All right. Elevator review. This movie reminded me of Undercover Brother. A little bit less humor, a little bit more, I won't say less humor, but like the over-the-top slapstick humor. Less of that and more dealing with the conspiracy and themes. We mentioned the grimy feel. I love the textured feel. It was blaxploitation without the blaxploitation. It almost kind of has a little bit of a message to it, and it's just a fun movie. Fun, good mystery, and good acting. So I couldn't recommend this movie more. Anybody asks if they should watch it, I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, 100%. I would say the same thing. I would say, for if nothing else, for the cast alone, definitely watch this movie. It's the perfect mix of, I thought it was hilarious, but like you're saying, it's not over the top. It's not slapstick humor. It's over, even if it weren't funny, it's just a great movie. And something that you've mentioned in another podcast that I really thought about, there's not a person I wouldn't recommend this to. Like, I've recommended this to people who, like, especially, they don't watch necessarily a ton of black movies and stuff, but like, no, I would still very much recommend this to anyone.
Right. Like this, there are movies where there might be, like, The Blackening is not a movie I would recommend to everybody necessarily, but this one I feel comfortable doing so. I was going to check to see, was it PG-13? No, it is rated R. It is rated R. Let me make sure. It might be rated R for violence. Pervasive language, violence, some sexual material, which I don't really remember much, and drug use. So, but I don't know. It's probably a very light R. It's a very light R, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, the language, if anything, maybe. I mean, there was a lot of language in it, I guess. But the only sexual thing I could think, I mean, there is a pimp and there are sex workers. But other than that, like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the non-spoiler conversation then. So we mentioned the time period question. They don't try to be ambiguous about it. Like I said, we get the SpongeBob and blockchain references early, which I feel like were kind of intentional to let you know this is set in modern times. How'd you feel about the time period ambiguity, I guess, of the movie? Do you think it added to it?
I think so. I personally love that sort of thing. Like when it's done well, like again, I mentioned It Follows. Like that's one of my favorite movies. And I think when you do that well, it really makes it timeless. Like I think of, I don't know if you remember or if you were a fan of like mixtape Wiz Khalifa, but on the song, I think was The Thrill maybe. He's ending the song and he says, "Yo, chick, still hit me on whatever it is I use on the computer these days." And by not saying that, that will never not be relevant. It's timeless. And I think this movie feels very timeless because again, it's got a lot of like 70s 80s like funk feel to it, so that alone is kind of timeless. I think it definitely adds to it. I think if you take that away and it's like very clearly set in a certain time period, I don't think it would have landed quite as well for me.
Yeah, and I think that, like as we mentioned, if it was done in a modern style with the clean perfect video and all that good stuff, it probably doesn't hit like this. It probably doesn't hit like it ended up doing. So I thought that was a great choice, and again added something to the movie because it's not just the texture of the film, but like, you know, you got afros and like I think Jamie Foxx's character had the pork chop sideburns. Like they have old school looks, but again, there's enough modern things in the movie to let you know that it is set in modern times. So I thought that was cool. I
also think it really helps with again, this isn't spoiler in my opinion because we've already mentioned like in the trailer it says conspiracy and stuff like that. I think when you're dealing with a plot line that's like quote unquote as outrageous, or not outrageous, but as you know what I mean, I think adding little things like that, it feeling kind of dreamlike to begin with, it having a timeless feel, I think that makes that a lot easier to digest.
That's true. Would you say, because like at points it almost felt like it was trying to be a little bit of a horror movie? Would you say there were like horror thriller elements that worked for you?
I'm the wrong person to ask because if it's even the slightest bit horror adjacent, I'm going to claim it, but I very much felt that way.
Okay. Yeah, they definitely play it up in a few scenes where like the mystery element, I guess, more so than anything. There's nothing that's like, they don't have any real jump scares or anything like that. It's just more of what the hell is happening or what is about to happen type stuff that happens in the movie, which again, it takes you for a ride. Like you're immersed in this experience with the characters because you're learning things as they're learning things. I like that. There's
multiple times where the tension very much was like on the same level of a horror movie, I think. Dude, kind of an example I want to give on the, going back a little bit, but on the like outrageousness of it all that I was saying, an example that I would give that I think didn't work as well. I love the movie Sorry to Bother You, but a lot of people don't. And that movie does take a hard left turn at one point and gets like very outrageous. And I think had it had more stuff like that, it probably like that wouldn't have turned as many people away from it, I think.
Yeah, no, because I was one of those people. Like, I love Sorry to Bother You up to the horse situation that happens. That I was like, all right, now we've gone too far. We've gone too far. But I don't think this one got there, like you said. And I think that I almost said something that probably needs to be saved for the spoiler section. But I do think that when you get certain reveals in this movie, the lead up to them, it does give you like that like how bad is this gonna get type of vibe that I enjoyed. So I got to talk about John Boyega's accent. I don't know if I've had these conversations with you about the British actors coming over and stealing our jobs. But I mentioned it to Reese when we were recording yesterday for the Outsiders about how these British actors do our accents very well. The only American actor I can think of that did the British thing well is Brian Tyree Henry in Bullet Train recently. But like John Boyega doing a Southern accent, and like I didn't question it once.
I did not know he was British. I found out today. I told you I watched a video of Teyonah, Parris, and John Boyega together, and I guess I've never watched an interview of his before. I learned today that he was British, and that's so impressive that they not only do American accents but like specific like Southern or like that's a level of talent that I'm awful at impersonations or accents or anything like that. So I've got nothing but love for that.
Yeah, he sounded like he was from South Florida. Like I was like, this is crazy. I remember when his press tour when The Force Awakens came out, he was going crazy on the red carpet. Like there was an interview where he like stops the interview and he's like, "That's my brother over there. Come on," and he like runs over. He's like, "We're from such and such." He's like shouting out his block and like do it. Like I was like, this dude does not care at all. Like he's supposed to be on the red carpet acting buttoned up, and he was like, "No, I'm from the hood. This is how I act. This is what you're gonna get on these red carpets." I was like, okay, I think I like this guy.
I love it. We need more of it.
I gotta find that interview because it's a classic. The interviewer looked like they were terrified what was happening. Another thing that this movie reminded me of, I mentioned it in my quick elevator review, was Undercover Brother, which cult classic, a movie ahead of its time, in my opinion. It's a movie I watched so much I could act it out at one point. I got really immersed in like the bonus features on the DVD. There was like a game, I was passing this thing around school, like telling everybody they had to watch it. And there's a scene in particular, which I'll get into maybe in the spoiler section, that I was like, oh, this is almost a sequel of sorts to Undercover Brother. And again, Undercover Brother had more of the over the top comedy than this did. This one just had funny situations and characters in a serious plot line. Like the villain wasn't goofy like they were in Undercover Brother, but I definitely feels like they're in the same, I don't want to say universe, but in the same like category. I would group them together. Are you?
Yeah, every review. Say that again. I'm sorry.
Are you familiar with Undercover Brother?
Yeah, I don't know why, but when I was a child, I watched that movie a number of times. I don't know why that was something I was watching as a kid, but also since I was a kid, I've always been like a huge Dave Chappelle fan. Okay. So yeah, that very well could have been part of it. But yeah, it's been a minute since I've seen it, but I've seen it a number of times.
Okay. What were you going to say? You said something about every review.
Oh, every review that I've read also mentions Undercover Brother, and I halfway think he may have mentioned it himself as a reference.
Okay. And I wondered if it would be a reference, because it's like something that he does in this movie is so close to something that happens in Undercover Brother that it's like, as a writer, I feel like I would have gone out of my way not to do that. But it's not an exact copy, so it's something that works because it's something that would be done in these types of scenarios. Like if we're following the breadcrumbs, I almost gave something away. I'm doing my best not to do it.
Once we get there, I do have something I would add to that. So just remind me not to forget.
I got a couple more things for the non-spoiler side. Jamie Foxx in this movie, his character, he plays a pimp. And we know Jamie Foxx can be incredibly extra. Playing a pimp is an opportunity to be incredibly extra, but I don't feel like he was. I feel like he was right in the right pocket of like saying absurd things, but like not doing too much to where it takes away from everybody else in the scene. So I enjoyed his role in this. What were your thoughts on Jamie Foxx?
Yeah, this was something you and I had texted about, I believe, but like it was perfect. And I, like you're saying, like, one, you're playing a pimp, you're playing this role. And even though John Boyega, wild famous, Teyonah Parris, very famous herself, Jamie Foxx still the biggest build name on this cast and everything. It would have been really easy to kind of let that get away, but I thought he did an amazing job of like, nah, I'm the corner 3-point guy. Like, y'all pass it to me when I'm open, but y'all are getting your shots up. This is y'all's thing. Yeah, I thought they did a great job with that, and I thought he killed it.
No, that's a good analogy. Like, he just kind of stayed in his pocket, played his role, didn't try to show that he was the guy, which is great. Teyonah Parris, I'm going to say it. It was hard for me to accept her as a sex worker in this scenario. A woman of the streets, a woman of the night, a woman like that. Somebody would be taking care of her. I'm sorry. One way or another, she would not be out there like that. There's no way under any circumstances. She was too clean. The face was given. The body was bodying. Ain't nobody gonna have her strolling the streets like this. That part I could not accept under any circumstances.
It's the meme of Drake in the strip club. He's like, I'm gonna get you out of here.
Exactly. Somebody's coming through to change her life. Like, ain't no way. And then she was supposed to be getting out of the game or whatever, but like, she was way too clean for me. I almost just accepted her as just being a woman at some point. Like, we're just gonna pretend that her background, which is relevant to the storyline. Again, I'm probably saying too much, but her background is relevant to the storyline, which we'll get into the spoilers. But again, she's one of my favorites. I always enjoy seeing her on screen. And her and John Boyega, the chemistry between them and Jamie Foxx was great. Like, those three carried the movie easily. There was no point where I questioned their relationships.
She specifically stole the show for me. Like, don't get me wrong, John Boyega is the lead of this movie, and by having Jamie Foxx in a supporting role, like, you think it's gonna be hard for anyone, not one of those two, to steal the show, but to me, she stole the show. And spoiler alert, when we do get to our Bibs awards next year, she will be my vote for best supporting actress. Oh, wow. I have a really hard time believing someone's gonna pass her between now and then.
That's interesting.
I would almost argue that you could put her as a lead, but yeah, she stole the show for me.
Yeah, that's the question, is if I would put her as a lead or supporting. I might have to watch it again to make that call. Honestly, I'm trying to think. She does have scenes where she's by herself, right? Yeah. Whatever will make it easier for her to win the award is what I'll vote her in. You know what? I'm gonna let you do your thing. That's really all I have for the non-spoiler section. We can't get into the plot much in the non-spoiler section. So shall we proceed to the spoilers?
Yes, absolutely.
Movie lovers, if your local theater is a Cinemark, you may want to consider signing up for Cinemark Rewards. There are 2 tiers to choose from, and one of them is actually free. The free tier is the Cinemark Movie Fan. You'll earn 1 point for every dollar you spend. You can redeem your points for tickets or other rewards. You'll get member access to screenings and advance tickets. You'll get an extra discount on Tuesdays, and other exclusive member offers will apply. Then you have the $10 or $9.99 a month option, the Cinemark Movie Club. All of the above, plus 1 free ticket every month, 20% off of all concessions, waived online fees, any unused ticket credits roll over to the next month. So if you miss a month, the tickets roll over. You'll also get member pricing for any additional tickets that you buy. For more information, hit the link in the show notes and sign up today. You have absolutely nothing to lose. Have you seen, listeners? I told you how to get a free ticket every month with Cinemark Rewards. And now I'm going to tell you how you can get 40% off your meals at restaurant.com. Follow these steps. Go to the show notes. Click the restaurant.com link. When you get to their page, put in your zip code. Or if you're traveling, put in the zip code of the place that you're visiting. A list of restaurants in or near that zip code will show up. You pick the one that you want, and a list of options will come up for that restaurant. Now, most restaurants will have a minimum purchase amount for your deal to apply. So pay attention. I'll give you an example. There's a barbecue spot near me that has a deal through restaurants.com. I can get a $25 certificate for $10. And the total purchase at the restaurant has to be $50 for the certificate to be able to be applied. All in all, I pay $35 for a $50 meal. But there is more. If you're flying solo, maybe you don't think you can buy $50 worth of food. There are lower options. You could pay $6 for a $15 off voucher, and your total purchase would have to be $30. Or pay $4 for a $10 off voucher, where your total purchase would need to be around $20. It all depends on the restaurant. But once again, if this sounds interesting, just hit the restaurant.com link in the show notes for more information. All right, spoilers. I hate doing a non-spoiler review, man. I hate dancing around stuff. Because
I was about to say we need to just like fully embrace being a spoiler heavy podcast, I think.
Yeah, at some point, I guess. I might check to see if people even care about the spoilers versus non-spoilers. Some do, some don't, but we'll see. Anyway, spoiler conversation. I'm gonna go 15 minutes in. So you get introduced to the world in the first 15 minutes. You get an understanding for who these people kind of are. I think right before a major event occurs is when we're introduced to Jamie Foxx and Teyonah Parris' characters. Let me start using character names. So Fontaine is...
I was literally just about to say, I'm awful at that, and I made sure, granted, I've seen this movie 4 times now. I know their names, but I was like, I need to make sure I'm saying their names and not the actors and actresses' name.
Exactly. So Fontaine is John Boyega's character. Slick Charles is Jamie Foxx, and Teyonah Parris' character is Yo-Yo. So we're introduced to Yo-Yo and Slick Charles in a scene in a hotel room. Yo-Yo leaves. She's about to go change her life. Fontaine shows up, shakes Slick Charles down, gets some money, leaves out of the hotel. He's being followed the entire time by Isaac. I don't know how he doesn't see this guy following him, but just the lack of awareness. You can't get caught lacking like that. Pulls up on him, and he was blasting music in the car. I was like, what kind of covert roll up is it? Like you're blasting this loud music, like you trying to get his attention. Fontaine hops out of the car, pulls the strap, but he gets shot, and I was like, oh damn, like what is happening?
Yeah, this is all on Fontaine, because the opening scene of the movie, Fontaine and a little kid named Junebug are riding around together, and he comes up on one of Isaac's friends, or one of like someone with Isaac, and runs him over. And he straight up says, like, Isaac is going to get you back for this. That did get one of the biggest laughs for me in the entire movie, though, because after he runs him over, the little kid Junebug goes, "Is that boy dead?" And I cracked up so hard. But yeah, if you're Fontaine, they're coming for you.
Right. Like you can't just run a dude over with a car and like expect no retaliation. Like I was like, how is this dude moving? Like, how is this guy surviving out here? Like moving like this? Like he didn't think that through at all. And then he didn't survive much longer. So
he did not.
I guess we got our answer. So he gets shot and killed, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And keep in mind, I know the movie is called They Cloned Tyrone, but this dude's name is Fontaine. So what's happening? Like to Fontaine, like is that? I was confused for a second. But then,
this I know I'm too much of like a horror or a scream head, because I was like, yeah, you kill off the biggest name person in the first act. That happens all the time. I'm not fazed by this.
So then John Boyega's character wakes up confused, clearly. But in his head, and I started to feel like one of those Happy Death Day type movies where he's like repeating the same day in his head. So he like goes to shake down Slick Charles again, and Slick Charles is like, what the fuck? Like I watched you get shot. Like he's like asking one of his workers, he's like, we saw him get shot, right? Like, I'm not tripping. And he's like, you took the money. Like, are you a ghost? Are you the ghost of I forget what he called him. You saw it 4 times. Do you remember exactly what he said? Uh-oh, did I lose Tyler? Did I lose you for a second?
Oh, for a second. Yep. Sorry.
You're back. Did you hear anything I said?
The last thing I heard was ghost.
Okay. So do you recall what he said, what he called him? He called him the ghost of something.
I thought he made a Ghost of Christmas Past reference, but I don't.
Okay. I didn't know if he said Christmas or something else.
He may have said something else. I don't remember.
Okay.
My question for all this was, and again, I've seen this movie entirely too many times to not have an answer. But in Fontaine's head, is this like all him getting shot? Does he remember that, or does he think it was a dream, maybe? Or
I was hoping you had the answer, because when he first wakes up, it looks like he is confused. Like I feel like he did remember it, but he like assumed, I guess, that because he's waking up, that it must have been a dream or something.
that's kind of where I landed on as well. Because like you said, as soon as he wakes up, like very quickly, he goes and knocks on his mom's door again, and it's like he seems to be remembering it. But by the time he gets to Slick Charles's, I don't know if maybe he's brushed it off as like, okay, that was just a dream, whatever.
Yeah, and like he's like, oh, maybe I didn't go to Slick Charles's because I didn't get, because in the dream I got shot outside of Slick Charles's like apartments, or I guess he was at a hotel. Like I got shot outside of his room, so I must not have gone there. So he like goes to shake him down, and then they go.
And Isaac and then very well took the money off of him anyway, so he probably is like, I don't have my money.
Right.
Yeah.
So then they
got to find Yo-Yo now, because Slick Charles is like, Yo-Yo would have seen you, and he's like, all right, let's go find her, and she can catch us up on all this, I guess.
Yeah, she gets in the car, gives him the rundown, and at this point he accepts it because I guess he thinks, Yo-Yo's not gonna lie like Slick Charles would. And then he pulls out the gun and was like, all right, gotta go figure this out. And neither one of the other two wants to be there, but he's very convincing. They go to the trap house. He sees a vehicle that he had seen before. They go in, and now this is where it's like starts to get eerie.
Yeah, and I thought it was moving pretty quickly, because I mean, we can't be more than 20 minutes into this movie.
Yeah, it's like 20 minutes in at that point. Like I think I texted you. I was like, okay, so we're like straight into it. Like no dancing around at all. Like we're straight to the action.
Especially for a 2-hour movie. Like it's moving pretty quick.
Yeah, that's why I was like, well, how is this gonna play out if we're getting all this information this quick? So like they go into the bunker, they find the guy in the lab with the afro.
The white dude with the afro. Who Slick Charles says looks like a game show host.
Slick Charles ends up killing this dude by accident because I guess Yo-Yo thought she was a chemist. She thought she was Oppenheimer or something. I don't know what we got going on. And Fontaine sees the version of himself that got shot the night before.
Yeah, it's also worth pointing out, because this becomes relevant later. Slick Charles, so obviously Fontaine is a drug dealer, and Slick Charles, he sells him coke, I assume. I don't assume, we know that it's coke. Well, when they're in the lab, he finds something that kind of looks like coke, so he grabs a little bit of it and puts it in his mouth, puts it on his tongue to see, and he very quickly is like, well, that's not coke, but I don't know what it is. And then it starts making him real giggly. Yeah. So as he's holding the white dude with the afro by gunpoint, he's kind of laughing and having a hard time keeping it together. And then Yo-Yo, like you said, is mixing these two potions together and like, oh shit, or something. And it scares Slick Charles. So he then shoots the guy
in the heart. And then he like tells him, shake it off. It's like, all right, bro. Like, I don't think he's shaking that off.
Yo-Yo's like, he's dead. And Slick Charles goes, we don't have time for that negativity. And he goes, give me some wet wipes. She goes, wet naps.
Oh, the wet naps was hilarious. See, I can't. That's why I wanted to rewatch it, because I wanted to get some of these quotes. But there's a lot of great quotes where he's like, try to straighten his jacket up. Like, come on, get up, brother. It's like, he's not getting up. You shot him in the heart. He is gone. Like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
That's a wrap for him. I did think the quote was funny. Fontaine was holding him at gunpoint, and the guy at first is just like, man, I'm just getting a paycheck. Like, don't, why bother with me? And he's like, sorry, dude, I get nervous around guns. This is my first time having a gun pointed at me. I know this isn't new for you. Well, I don't know if it's new for you or not. I'm sorry for saying that.
The movie has a lot of those like subtle jokes. So, like, again, the first time through, I didn't think to write any down, but there's a like almost every conversation has these moments that's like just hilarious. And that's again, it makes it fun where you're not looking for one-liners. It's just the way everybody talks is funny, one way or another. So at that point, now Fontaine is kind of having a little bit of a crisis. Jamie Foxx's character and Teyonah Parris's character, Yo-Yo, Slick Charles, Yo-Yo, and Fontaine. Damn, they are kind of messed up by this because they just seen this boy's body on a table, and everybody's confused. I think they go back to. Did they go back to Fontaine's place?
They go to Yo-Yo's grandma's house.
Okay, so they go to Yo-Yo's grandma's house. They all go to sleep, and then they wake up in the morning and Fontaine is gone.
Mm-hmm.
He's apparently tried to figure this out on his own. But when he goes back to the trap house, he can't figure out, or the rooms are gone. Does he get he gets the crew together?
Yeah, so he gets his friends together. He takes them back to the trap house and
doesn't tell them anything.
Yes. And obviously nothing's there. They have, they're onto us, so we're moving shop elsewhere. And of course, now he has to try to explain to his friends this wild ass story that no one's going to believe. And his friend, I don't know that we ever got his friend's name, but he's always got the fan with him. And he's trying to be supportive. He's like, look, man, it happens. You need a bottle of water. Get a bottle of water in you. And, it happens. We're just a little confused right now.
Yeah, it was the friend that, there was the conversation they had in the beginning where Fontaine tells him to do something.
So I think he had told him that they had ran up on Isaac, or he ran over one of his friends. And he says, well, what are we doing? We'll run up on him. And he's like, you have a fan. You look like you're about to pass out right now. We're not running up on nobody. No, it was Slick Charles owed him money, I think is what it was.
Yeah, and he was like, I didn't see him at the such and such. And he was like, did you look anywhere else? He's like, nah, because he usually be at I forget where it was. It was like, really? You just looked one place and came back?
Which is such a funny answer. I looked everywhere for it. Where'd you look? I just looked at the motel, but he wasn't there. That's where he's normally at. I don't know.
It's like, did you look anywhere else? I mean, he usually at the hotel, so I was like, all right, man, dang, do it myself. That was funny. And it's like, this town is like 10 miles wide or like 5 blocks wide, and you just looked into one place. Come on, man. What else we got? So
from there, I think, sorry.
I was gonna say, so after him and his people don't find what they're looking for in the first place, he goes back to Yo-Yo and Slick Charles, right?
Yeah.
And they go to kind of regroup and they go to the chicken place. Am I on the right path?
Yeah.
This is where we get the undercover brother moment where they're like, and you could kind of see it happening in the background with the other people, but like they're eating the chicken and Jamie Foxx gets giggly again.
Which earlier in the movie, you'd seen commercials for this chicken place, and it looks like a club. Like everyone's dancing, everyone's laughing. Like it does not look like a restaurant. It very much looks like a club almost. Like it's a very cool atmosphere. You're trying to get people there. And yeah, like you said, once we get there, you're seeing a lot of this happening in the background already.
Yeah, so it's already happening in the background, but you see Jamie Foxx start to laugh, and then he's remembering the feeling he had when they were in the lab, and he takes it that powder, and he was like, they're putting it in the chicken, and like they freak out, blah blah blah. And that was the undercover brother reference where what's his face? Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot his name. Lando Calrissian. What's his Billy D? There we go. Billy D. Williams, the general in Undercover Brother, who was putting stuff in the chicken to control black people's minds.
Dave Chappelle's eating the chicken anyway, though. Like as they're realizing he's still eating the chicken.
But I mean, the chicken stereotype, everybody loves fried chicken in reality, but black people somehow got the stereotype of loving fried chicken. So if you're gonna have a conspiracy situation, you're gonna put something in some fried chicken. Like that's how you
get it. I only don't have like you said, it's almost too close to Undercover Brother that you almost don't want to do it. Right. But because you're doing that, you're doing the hair products, and it's very tongue in cheek. Like I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, and that was my initial thought was, oh, this is like doing it like Undercover Brother, but because it's not just the chicken, and the chicken kind of feels like it's supposed to be there, I let it. I didn't like hold on to it as a thing. The hair product touch was nice. I really like that because it kind of is almost layered in a sense that the reason black women treat their hair to get it straight is because of old Eurocentric beauty standards, and so now making that product also a mind control thing that calms them down is like that's a chef's kiss type situation. Like that's perfect.
That was good. What was that? So it was the chicken. It was the hair cream, and there was one other thing, wasn't there?
Was it something at the club?
Oh, they were doing it through music.
Yeah, the music.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna save a piece of that for later. But
well, we'd already seen an instance of that once when they're going to the trap house. The DJ, every time they play something by the artist named Ruckus is when it's happening. And Jamie Foxx immediately, as soon as the song comes on, he's like, I hate this song. I get so tired every time the song comes on. Will you turn it? And then they're all yawning.
Right. Exactly. So like the music is hit. It's funny because, or it's good because like the stuff was already happening before you knew what was happening. And then even after you know what's happening, you see it happening and they realize it when you're realizing it, which was, again, fun, good touch, good writing, and obviously carried out well by the actors. I don't remember. How did they get into the place the second time? Was it through the chicken place or was it through somewhere else?
So at the chicken place.
They confront the cashier, right?
Yeah. Yo-Yo takes him back and kind of like seduces him a little bit, and she's able to see a bunch of screens where everything's going on.
Right. They're watching like the whole town, pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah. So the second time that they go underground, they go in disguise, and they got the big suits on, so nobody can tell who they are. And then that's where they find the clones.
Mm-hmm.
We already knew Fontaine was cloned, and you maybe thought that was where it stopped, but that is not. There are key figures throughout the community. They went to the church too. The church scene was hilarious too.
The church scene was hilarious.
What was this? Was it Back That Ass Up?
It was. So the church is they're having a great time at church. Everyone's very into it, very animated, and you hear an organ in the background. And at first, like they're just slowly building up to it, and then before you know it, the organist is just straight up playing Back That Ass Up. Slick Charles goes, I ain't been to church in a minute, but what is going on?
This is different. I don't remember it being like this. And David Allen Grier was the preacher, and he definitely went off. Like he was having fun in this scene. Great scene, great moment. But when they get to the underground bunker, they see key figures throughout the community that there are clones of. Fontaine being one of them. He's the drug dealer keeping everybody doped up. The preacher, I believe, was one of them.
Was he? Slick Charles was one of them.
Charles is one of them, the pimp. So it's like key figures throughout the community that keep the community down, basically. Again, smart touches. And now Slick Charles is also having a crisis of identity and whatnot, which, again, it adds the fact that Fontaine is the only one dealing with this adds a layer. At this point, I think Fontaine tries to shoot the glass, which was interesting. I don't know what we were accomplishing, but
I think he straight up shot his clone.
He tried to. I don't think it got through.
Oh, okay.
He shot like 5 times, but I think the glass was bulletproof, if I'm not mistaken. They end up having to skedaddle, if you will. They go out through the club, and as they're going out through the club, the DJ, another white guy with an afro, realizes what's happening and tries to keep them from leaving with the music. Almost works on Slick Charles. They get outside. I don't know how they chose this car, but they get into like the most trash car possible. The other people have been controlled and they're sent after them. They're chasing after them. All of a sudden the car stops and the people stop. And now we're introduced to our big bad, Keifer Sutherland.
Jack Bauer, baby.
What were your thoughts when Keifer Sutherland pulled up?
Was not expecting Jack Bauer. Every single time I've ever seen him, he's either Jack Bauer or what was the other one? Designated Survivor or something like that. Every time I've ever seen him, he is one white man with one gun against the entire world. And it was wild to see him not be like the James Bond character for once.
I guess he wanted to show that he could do more.
He's more than just James Bond.
What was I going to say? Let me see here.
He was a good touch, though. Like, I'm trying to think of like other people you could have in that role. And like, I'm sure a lot of other people could have done it well, but I wouldn't have necessarily guessed. Like, if you would have gave me a list of people who's going to kill this role, I wouldn't have been like, ooh, Keifer Sutherland. But like, seeing him in it, I thought he did really well.
I don't know how that casting came about. That would be a good question to ask.
Something I noticed, and I probably should have noticed it the first time or the second or the third, but it didn't really hit me till the fourth. But maybe I should save it for later. We're in the spoiler section, but it should maybe be saved for later.
Okay. All right. We'll wait.
It's part of the big reveal.
Okay. So in this scene, we also see another version of Fontaine, who was the driver. And he pretty much just kind of lays out what's going on. Like, he's not afraid to tell them what's going on. He also ends up showing him that he can control them. But the person he can't control is Yo-Yo, because she's not important.
Okay, so I did want to bring this up. Yo-Yo is unfazed by the music in the club. She, I guess, was giggling when she was eating the chicken, but she's unfazed by the music in the club. She's not controlled when that's happening. So she's just not important enough to be controlled, I guess.
That's what I think the message is.
That's a wild bummer. We stand Yo-Yo.
Her hair's natural too, so she hasn't put the stuff in her hair.
Yeah.
Although when they catch her later, she had a wig on where they were where she had to fake it or whatever. But in this particular scene, I think she's like, because her hair is not relaxed, she wouldn't have gotten it that way. I don't know what the situation would have been with the music. I think she does, like, I don't know if she covers her ears or what she does, but she's like being smart. But the fact that she's not one of the people that has a clone is because she's disposable. She's not important because she's a sex worker. Most likely, I would assume that that's the message.
Yeah, and there's a bigger message there. I also noticed, I thought it was kind of funny, not funny, but like, so obviously Fontaine and Slick Charles, they have a lot going on. They have their own clones and stuff. And Yo-Yo, the only person who isn't quote unquote like affected by this, and she's working harder than anybody. She's the one that's like, no, we're gonna figure this out, guys. We got this. Yeah,
so it's like she ends up being kind of the emotional heart, I guess, the heart of the movie, while the other two are, I mean, John Fontaine's the main guy, and then Slick Charles is like a character that you don't take seriously initially, and then he becomes important along the way. I'm trying to think.
From here, Jack Bauer tells him essentially, you've got one of two options. You can go about your normal life and forget any of this ever happened, or I can just kill y'all now. Why don't y'all just go ahead and get on out of here? And then he kind of hits them with the, like, y'all are the ones ruining this community to begin with. Why don't you just keep it that way? We'll keep this place a shithole, and we'll all keep it moving.
So in this scene, it's pretty much established that he does not see them as a real threat to him. Like,
right.
And he goes on about his merry way, if you will. Initially, Fontaine seems to be accepting his fate, and he's going to go back to the block. I do not recall what made him change his mind. Was it just Yo-Yo?
I believe it was just Yo-Yo.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong about that. Oh, I think I do know what it was.
What happened? Was it, the mom?
It's the scene with the mom. So throughout this whole movie, he knocks on his mom's door a lot to seem to like check on her. Hey, can I make you a sandwich? Can I make you some food? Do you want anything? And we just get very short answers, kind of dismissing him. And then after Yo-Yo's like, come on, dude, let's figure this out. And he's kind of blowing her off. He's going to go back to his normal life. And he seems to kind of be wrestling with it back and forth. And then he's trying to get his mom's attention. And finally, he's had enough of it. He busts the door in, and it turns out his mom isn't even there. It's a recording.
Yeah.
That was tough, man. I don't know what I was expecting. Like, because I didn't think his mom was going to be in on it. Like, we know something's up with the mom, and like, why would she be in on that? But like, I was not ready for that.
Yeah, I don't know if I expected a robot or what, but I didn't expect it to be exactly what it ended up being, like the little recording. And now he was willing to play along basically for a minute. Like, he was like, fuck it, nothing matters. I'll just play along. But when he does the mom thing, he's like, this is stupid. Like, why would I go along with this? And so now he's back in for the mission.
I also think part of that was also realizing, like, we've learned along the way. He had a little brother. His little brother died. At this point, like, it's not like you don't have a wife, you don't have kids of your own. All you had at this point was your mom, and now you realize you don't even have her. And I think that was probably a big, like, okay, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this alone.
Yeah, like your story, the story that people you thought mattered and whatnot, and like all of this is fake at this point. And it's like,
and Yo-Yo and Slick Charles very much have become his people at this point.
like so. Again, all of this works. Like there was no point where I was like out of the story. Like I was always invested in the story, and this emotional moment kind of helped solidify the fact that yeah, we gotta take care of business here. So they go back. They try to. They got to get back underground, and I think they come up with the plan for him to get shot. Or no, they tried to get the dude first to join them, didn't he?
So the reason why they have to go back underground, even though Slick Charles and Fontaine are pretty much like, I'm good. Yo-Yo is very still dedicated. She decides she is going to stick with this plan. And she gets kidnapped. The government's onto her. They see what she's doing. So they kidnap Yo-Yo, and then Fontaine and Slick Charles kind of piece it together. And they're like, shit, we got to go get Yo-Yo.
Oh, yes. That's how. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I was struggling with it for a second. Yeah. So when Yo-Yo gets captured, okay, that makes sense. Did that change the way the movie was going for you when Yo-Yo got captured?
It just made I don't know. Because I feel like we're gonna try to expose this regardless, but now we've got to get Yo-Yo. I mean, even if we don't expose everything, we've got to get her. So I'm still bought all the way in. Let's go get Yo-Yo. I'm very attached to this woman. Let's go get her.
Okay. So I was worried when they were doing the stuff to her hair for a second. I thought like maybe one of them has to go down and it's going to end up being Yo-Yo, which would have made me mad. But when you find out it's a wig, I was like, oh, fantastic.
Great reveal as well.
Yeah, it was well done, well handled. The plan to get underground was fun. When they get like everybody down there, that was fun. Like it was kind of like a big battle scene, but you didn't really need it to be a big battle scene. It's a lot of background stuff happening. How'd you feel about the underground situation?
So I do kind of like it as a big battle, only because I find myself getting very annoyed sometimes at like the one man versus the world, two people versus the world type of deal. So at least we have a cavalry, we have reinforcements. I liked it for that reason. And I also very much liked it for the reason of, the whole point of this is like we're controlling the community. We don't think, like y'all are so disposable to us. And I do kind of like this idea of the community being like, nah, this is our place. This is our town. No, we're fighting back.
Yeah, like once he gets the other drug dealer to buy in, I was like, all right, this is going to get fun now. And it was.
That was really fun as well. There's the fun back and forth of when they're trying to set all that up. Obviously, they know the government's watching, so they can't just go speak to them verbatim. So they're using these other sex workers kind of back and forth.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they're negotiating a price, and he's like, tell him if he shoots me, we'll give him $10,000. And then she comes back, she's like, he wants $30,000. He's like, he shot me for free the last time.
Right. he shot me for free the first time. Like, what's going on? Now, I don't know if I missed it or what. When he goes to see Buddy, he gets shot. And the first time he got killed, they replaced him or whatever. And so this is supposed to happen again. Then they go back and they show us, like you said, the setup of like him negotiating. So was the first time when he goes there and he gets shot, was that the end result after they had already made the plan and they just go back to show you how it came to be at that point?
That's how I took it.
Okay.
I took it as because at first we don't know, like you're saying, we don't know that they've discussed all this.
Right.
We think he's just been shot and killed, and he's gonna, as a clone, probably wake up in the underground or whatever, and then it does go back to show us. Okay. And I do kind of like that. I was gonna say it's unnecessary, but I think it is smart because it shows us the way it would have been perceived by the people watching. You know what I mean? And then it kind of lets us know, like, hey, by the way, this is why that. I kind of like that.
Yeah. So, and initially I was like, I don't know if I missed something or what, but initially I thought that he went there, he got shot, and then the plan didn't work. And so then he comes back and is like, hey, let's just let him know ahead of time. So like, we'll do the same thing again, but this time it's fake. But no, it did make more sense. Like after I thought about it, I was like, maybe they just went back and showed us how we got to that point because it looked exactly the same. And I would have imagined the government people would have realized they did the exact same thing twice. So yeah, that made more sense. He gets underground, all that good stuff. I like that his wound didn't just go away. Like he's shot in the shoulder, he can't use that arm pretty much during the fight. So that was cool that they actually maintained the injuries, which a lot of these movies forget, you know, when somebody shot in the arm, they still use that arm and stuff. I hate that.
So to catch up on where we're at now,
there's a lot to be said about this resolution section.
So Slick Charles has gotten pretty much the entire town. We're all going underground. At the same point, Yo-Yo is still, she has kind of just gotten out of her situation.
Right.
And Fontaine is waking up, not waking up, but he's part of the plan, obviously, but he's kind of off by himself. Yo-Yo's kind of off by herself. And then Slick Charles is coming to save the day.
Yes. And what they do, who is it that tells them to open all the places, like open all the doors? Is that Yo-Yo? Because like there's like different places throughout the town that have doors to get underground. I can't remember if it was Yo-Yo or who. So one of them like goes into the room that controls the doors and like tells them.
Oh, Fontaine.
The Fontaine?
Yeah.
So like everybody comes down and I think we joked about how do you decide who goes down the elevator first?
Right, because earlier in the movie, there's just the three of them on the elevator, and like they all fit on the elevator, but there's not a ton of room necessarily. Exactly. And now you've got a ton of people you're trying to get on this elevator. I would have loved to seen a like deleted scene or like a post-credit scene where they're all just having to wait to take turns to go on the elevator.
They're making like they definitely made multiple trips, and like there was a scene where like characters from the underground are trying to go up the elevator, and it opens, and there's like a bunch of people on it already, like coming out. These were fun scenes. There's like characters that don't have names or anything like that, but it's just the community coming down, and everybody's willing to fight this situation, even though they don't necessarily fully understand what's going on. Probably, they know they were being manipulated and controlled, so that was cool. The scene with Keifer Sutherland. Well, you want to do the Keifer Sutherland scene or the Fontaine versus Fontaine scene?
They're happening simultaneously. Let's do the Fontaine one.
All right, so you take that one.
Okay, so Fontaine, as we mentioned, has ran into another clone of Fontaine earlier in the movie, and now we get kind of his big battle. It's Fontaine versus Fontaine, and he loses. He does not win this battle. And now he wakes up in another room with another Fontaine. This is the big reveal of the movie, an old Fontaine. Yeah. And he is kind of the one behind all of this. And again, it's been a big part of the whole movie that his little brother died when he was young. And that's kind of why he's been doing all of this. He wants to live in a world with complete racial harmony and everything. And the way to do that is to clone people. And we even see there's like 4 or 5 bodies, I guess, in their little clone deals. And it's the evolution of what that would become. You have on each side a very white guy, a very black guy, and then a lot of in between of how you're getting from here to here. And the big reveal is that not only is all this happening and Fontaine's in on it, but like he's kind of the main person behind it, or one of the main people behind it.
Like the OG Fontaine is the source for all of this. Like he's the mind behind it, which was interesting.
And even implies to current Fontaine that like you're one of many clones of you that I have made, and you're lucky that I've let you have the memories that you do have. What I was going to say earlier in the movie, that was a big, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of foreshadowing, I guess. Okay. When Keifer Sutherland outside of the club is showing Fontaine pretty much that like I could kill you if I want to, but he even says he word for word says I would kill you now, but that choice isn't up to me, or that's not my call to make, or something like that. And it hit me as like, oh, old Fontaine isn't going to let him kill current Fontaine.
Are you saying you knew that it was going to be a Fontaine variant at that time?
No. But I'm just saying, it even took a fourth watch for me to be like, oh, that's what he's referencing.
Yeah.
Like, that's not just a throwaway line of like, like he's referencing something there.
Yeah, we knew he wasn't the boss man, but yeah, it didn't register for me initially. Like as the movie even wrapped up, like I didn't even think, like I knew there was going to be another boss, but I think it being a version of Fontaine caught me off guard so much that I didn't even consider the fact that this was like the boss that he was referring to in the earlier scene. Like I was just in the scene. The Keifer Sutherland character is chasing down Yo-Yo and Slick Charles. This one is another scene that caught me off guard with how they got out of that. So you want to take that one too?
Yeah. So
saw it multiple times.
Before we get to this point, they Yo-Yo and Slick Charles have started to free all the clones, and now we find ourselves in a battle. Yo-Yo and Slick Charles get kind of cornered, I guess, by Keifer Sutherland, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to go about it.
I think his name Nixon.
Is it?
I think it's Nixon. I know he's one of those shitty presidents. Go back.
That makes me happy if that's the one they chose.
I want to say. Yep, Nixon.
It is Nixon.
Yep.
So as that's going on, Yo-Yo and Slick Charles kind of come up with this idea that Slick Charles is going to flank and he's going to come from behind and get Nixon. Right. So Yo-Yo's kind of distracting him, and a reference is made that I didn't catch that you caught, but obviously she was in Mad Men. She plays what's his name, secretary. Don Draper. Don Draper's the name I'm thinking of. Yeah, John Hamm. And Keifer Sutherland does make a comment of like, you can be my secretary or something like that. But Slick Charles, sorry.
Nice little Easter egg.
Yeah. Slick Charles does come up from behind on Nixon. But Nixon's pretty good physically. And it looks like that's going to be the end of that. And I believe he even shoots.
Yeah, Slick Charles.
Yeah. And we think that's a wrap. But then I guess clone Slick Charles or real Slick Charles was behind him ready to take him out.
So I think the one that he ended up shooting was a clone.
That's kind of what I thought, yeah.
And so then the real Slick Charles comes out and shoots him. And I was like, oh, I forgot about the clones. Like, I for sure thought they got Jamie Foxx up out of there. I was upset for a second.
I did too, and I would even thought, like, of our big three, if you were going to kill one of them, I do think it would have been him. So I even had him on. I was like, damn, he's dead.
But that was a good fake out. Because again, it's a movie about clones, but as you're caught up in the story and whatnot, you don't even consider that this was a clone for us. And I didn't. Maybe somebody out there was like, please let this be a clone, but it wasn't me. They got me.
So to recap, Slick Charles and Yo-Yo, they win their little battle and they're out. They take off. They get out from underground. We're left with Fontaine versus the Fontaines. And Fontaine, current Fontaine, our Fontaine, realizes the mind control thing and uses it to get clone Fontaine to kill old Fontaine.
So my question is, how is he able to say the code word if he's affected by the code word?
I had the same exact thought. Not only that, you would think old Fontaine wouldn't be like, you just would think they would have made it proof against them. Like, this is never going to be able to kill me. Or like, maybe commands don't work if you're trying to take, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I had that same thought.
Yeah, I needed, like, I don't know if maybe he had some earpiece in or something like that to where he couldn't hear it. But that was the one thing that I was like, I don't know if that worked for me as far as like him being able to use the code on somebody else when we saw it impact him earlier in the movie. So that was probably my only, like, what do you call them, plot hole?
Yeah, plot hole.
So it wasn't as big a deal to me because I wanted it to go the way it did. I just had to question, like, if Yo-Yo had done it, I would have felt better about it because we know it doesn't affect her.
True, but you saying something, I mean, you would hear it if you said it. I don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, maybe it needed to be aimed at that person. I don't know. So, because I think when Keifer Sutherland's character Nixon says it earlier in the show, it actually did impact Driver Fontaine too. Like, all of them were frozen.
Yeah, for sure affects him because he's the one doing the stuff. He's telling him, he's using it to control him.
Right. So like, yeah, when Kiefer Sutherland says it, it affects Slick Charles Fontaine and Driver Fontaine at the same time. So
Yeah.
I don't know how the rules apply as far as the code word.
Yeah, we might need a little clarification on that, but
I would that's the put them on the spot question if we get the Juel Taylor interview. Should I shoot that shot?
I would love that. That'd be dope.
I couldn't find him on social media, so I'd have to dig into it. I have IMDb Pro. I pay a shit ton of money for it, but I can get in touch with people if you're serious.
Yeah, after you get a hold of Teyonah Parris, let me know and we'll get Juel Taylor too.
That's a dangerous interview. I don't know if I can do that one.
I'm not allowed to come with that one, am I?
No,
I gotta stay home for that one.
That might be a little bit. That might get out of hand.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, I'm sure it'll be very professional.
I am very professional.
Of course, I mean you're literally a professional. So, so in this whole situation, so the clones are all released. They're walking around. We get like the news report at the end, and while the movie's like wrapping up, I'm like, we just went through this whole movie called They Cloned Tyrone, and there's like no character named Tyrone in this movie.
I had the exact same thought, man. Before you get to that real quick, we do get closure. Hour 3 have decided the whole time. Yo-Yo keeps saying, I'm going to retire. I'm going to move to Memphis.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, I'm done. I am moving to Memphis. Slick Charles is like, yeah, there's nothing left for me here. I'm coming with you. And even Fontaine says, like, if y'all cool with it, like I'm going to come with. So we all have a happy ending. We're all staying together. We are all getting out of here. And she does say, like, they're probably doing this other places too, And then, as you're saying, we kind of get an end credit scene after that.
So, I'll say the end credit, and then that'll lead to the big question. So, end credit, another variant of Fontaine wakes up very clearly in LA. And now we get to see John Boyega do his Los Angeles accent.
He does it all.
His Los Angeles walk. I can't remember how his hair was, but his hair was different.
I think he had like braids.
Okay. And he appears to be doing kind of similar stuff, but he's like watching the news with his boys, and the news is showing what happened in the Glen. And a clone Fontaine walks across the screen, and the boys are like, hey, ain't that you, Tyrone? And that's kind of how the movie kind of ends. But then you get the Erykah Badu, which apparently I didn't catch it, but somebody said the lyrics were different.
The lyrics were different. I meant to make a note of it. That's my fault. I didn't notice it the first couple of times, but
the first time, the
last time I watched it, I noticed the lyrics were different. So I don't know if Erykah Badu came back and was like, "Yeah, I'll record something for y'all" or what. But
it definitely was her.
I think it even says the words "cloned" in it.
I think some of them have been in Cloned Tyrone or something like that. Would be my assumption.
Let me see if I can find that for you before we get out of here.
I mean, hey, play it out loud if possible. I meant to check to see if the soundtrack was available.
So I don't have a. Oh, maybe I do. Here we go. Let's see if you can hear this or not.
Okay.
Sisters, how y'all feel? Brothers, y'all all right? Don't ever find it again.
Sorry if this is wait. It does change.
Okay.
Every time you come around, you got the clone Jim, James, Paul, and Tyrone.
I can barely hear it.
See, why can't we just be ourselves? Memory with my mind. Just wanted to be cool and free, but you don't.
Okay, there it is. Sorry.
Okay. I can barely hear it.
My fault. So the lyric change, she does change a few of the lyrics along the way, but am I allowed to say anything? Can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
Okay, she changes the lyrics to "These motherfuckers clone Tyrone. So tell them, come on, help get your shit. Yeah, she straight up says they cloned Tyrone.
Okay. I'm looking
But
at
even if they wouldn't have got her to do that, they would have just used the song like Chef's Kiss on that.
I did find the soundtrack. It does have a Big Crit song on it and Saba, which I'm excited about.
Oh, shout out Saba.
And the Erykah Badu thing is called Who Cloned Tyrone.
Nice. What's the Crit song on there?
It's called Winter Chicken Dinner.
Oh, I'm seeing the Love Hangover, Diana Ross. Nice.
I'm definitely gonna listen to this.
That's a nice soundtrack.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna listen to this. I might need to bring the music. Somebody made a playlist as well that added like the songs that played. So like At Night and Day from Al B. Sure's there. Saturday Love, Sherelle and Alexander O'Neal. I'd Rather Be With You by Bootsy Collins. Don't Stop Till You Get Enough by Michael Jackson. So yeah, it's like it's the soundtrack plus like other songs that appeared in the show in the movie. So it's like an extra 10 songs.
Another big cameo you may not have noticed, or you may have. I don't know. Did you notice the cameo from When We Woke Up in LA? There's a radio playing.
I did not.
So there's a radio playing when he's walking around town, and you can tell it's like a morning show. I mean, it's the morning, yes. And it's Big Boy. It's Big Boy in the Neighborhood.
I did not catch that at all.
Yep.
Okay. With all that established, though, we got LA Fontaine or Tyrone, I guess, but it's the Fontaine model, if you will. And we got them going to Memphis and acknowledging that this is probably happening in other cities. We know Memphis is a city with a strong Black population. Are we getting a sequel?
Oh, are we getting a sequel? Do I want a sequel? I would watch 3 hours of Yo-Yo Fontaine and Slick Charles just getting up to hijinks. I would. I'm torn between. We don't need a sequel.
Right.
And I am very big on like who needs that, who asked for that. Let's not do things for the sake of doing things. Let's not do sequels and series and franchises. Let's do more good creative ideas. But I'm so attached to these characters that like I would very clearly watch the second one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough because, like you said, I want to see these characters again, but you have to do it right. Like you could mess up the greatness of the first movie by doing a bad sequel. I see a path to a good sequel where they do go to Memphis. They do notice these things happening again, but you have to do it bigger. Like now that we know what the root of the situation is, how do you make a showdown with a big bad better than the first one, or like more important, I guess.
It would be cool just to see, like, let's say you do go to Memphis. Seeing the Memphis version of these characters would be cool. Right. Seeing the Dallas version, the Atlanta, I think it'd be cool just to see the different versions of each of these people. But again, like you're saying, like, yeah, at some point you're going to run into the big bad. How do you make that bigger? How do you make that different? So that would be tough. It would be cool to see all these characters as different versions of themselves, though.
Right. Maybe he creates like they make like a union with other Fontaines across the country type of thing. Like, that's but for a directorial debut, that's dangerous to end up with a franchise out of it. So we'll see what they do. I could definitely see Netflix pushing for it if the movie continues to be popular like it is. I would prefer the Juel to get like a first look type deal where he can make whatever movies he wants going forward versus staying in that world. And if he wants to bring back John Boyega and Teyonah Parris, I won't complain about that.
Never going to complain about that.
Any other thoughts? I think we did pretty good. It's only like an hour and some change.
Yeah, the only other little final note I would make is you had made the comment earlier about it not being slapstick. I thought like that was perfect. The humor in this to me is perfect because almost every line or every scene has like a really funny line in it,
right? But
it isn't over the top, and it's not even like trying to get your attention with it necessarily. Like it'll be almost like a throwaway line that's just hilarious, and I really liked that. I do have my favorite scene though.
Yes. What do you
I don't
got?
know if it's my favorite scene, but it's one that we haven't mentioned. So
I'm curious where you. I hope you don't take mine, but I'm gonna let you go.
I don't think I will. It's the second time we're going underground. We're getting on the elevator, and out of nowhere, we Slick Charles and Yo Yo sing a freestyle version of "I'm Going Down," and that was Yo Yo just like keeps it going and going, and that was funny.
Yeah, Slick Charles started it, and it looked like the other two were gonna be annoyed, and then Yo Yo starts joining in. I was like, oh crap.
That was one of the biggest laughs for me.
My favorite moment or my scene that stuck with me was the club, and that's why I started to say it, and then I caught myself when they were going out of the club, and the DJ realizes that they're not stuck in the music, so he like starts playing that. I think it's like turn around or spin around and around, like type of thing. Like the song was hot, first of all, and like you start slowly seeing the people in the club start like spinning their drinks and like doing different things. Like that scene was dope. Where you can see him like controlling everybody. He's like, yeah, we're gonna keep it going round and round. And like then you see Slick Charles start turning. It's like, oh crap.
This was a big movie for white people with afros, man.
they were killing it. Like
They were
bringing it back. But that was who was the DJ? The DJ, that was a good scene. That was that was one of the main like side people that didn't really have a name that was like had a good moment. I saw him in the cast list a minute ago. Joshua Michael, DJ Strangelove. I feel like I've seen this guy before. Oh, he was in Walking Dead. There we go.
Side note, I like the name DJ Strangelove. That's a great DJ name.
That's a fire DJ name. And it's funny that he was in The Walking Dead because I was gonna say the scene kind of reminded me of a scene from The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like those scenes, like I go back to a scene with like Rick and the gang when they're like they cover themselves in guts and they try to like walk through a horde of zombies like that. It kind of gave me vibes of that. But like in this scenario, DJ Strangelove is like controlling the zombies almost.
I hadn't thought about that, but very big zombie vibes for sure.
Yeah. So that was cool. That's my scene. The scene with the mom, that could also have been a good like standout scene.
That was great.
Just a good movie, man. Like I can't think of too many wasted moments in this movie. I can't think of any. I don't know why it's too many. I'm excited to see what this creator does next, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a rating? Can I give a rating?
Let's do it. What do you got?
Okay, so
I come up with a rating system if we're going to be doing these regular, by the way.
Yeah, at some point I'll just adjust and I'll just hop on yours. Okay, so that would mean 1 through 5, right?
Yeah, with halves.
Give me,
or if you want to do it for real, I'll bring up the I have 5 criteria.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
We'll do the 5 criteria. All right.
While you're pulling that up and waiting, I'll vamp for a second. Just on the scale that I've always done, just a simple 1 through 10. I don't ever give it 10. Nothing's a 10. I don't ever give more than 1 or 2 9s a year. And I gave this like a 9 or a 9.5. Like I've already watched it like 4 times. It will be, unless Talk to Me passes it, it's probably going to be my movie of the year so far. I wanted it to be The Blackening, and I probably like The Blackening as much. I'll probably rewatch it as often as well, but I think because that's just a comedy or a horror comedy, and this was a little deeper than that, maybe, would give this a slight advantage. I don't know. Okay.
I'm going to say because it's fresh, we'll see how you feel in like a month or two.
Right.
But all right, I'm pulling it up. The first question is, did they accomplish what they set out to do on a scale from 1 to 5?
5.
5.
What?
Overall entertainment value or recommendability?
5.
Emotional connection to the story or characters?
5. We're going 5s across the board.
Was there an X factor, great acting, or something completely fresh?
I mean, I want to say another 5, but I mean, like, you couldn't go lower than a 4 on that. I'm going to go 5 though.
Like you said, there were clear influences from other things, but I think that the way they brought them together makes it unique. So I think that's a fair to give it a 5 as well. And then the last thing is, did the story keep you on your toes or keep you guessing? And that's not necessarily like a mystery sense. It's just like some movies you watch and like 30 minutes into the movie, you know exactly how this is going to play out. I don't think this is one of those movies. I'm going to say at least a 4, and it might be a 5. But I don't know if I want to call this movie perfect. So that's the only thing that stops me.
Between having like wild ADHD, just being nerdy in general, and watching as many movies as I do and as we do, like I think you and I are very bad about like you'll be watching a movie with someone and it'll be both of your first time, and like you're not even through the first act yet, and you're like, oh, blank, blank, blank. They're like, are you serious? And then you get to the end and like you were dead right.
Right.
You could not do that with this movie.
No, I would agree. And even like we said in the like, I don't know if it was post credit or like credits type scenes, you're still learning stuff like all the way from start to finish. So it might be all 5s, to be honest.
It might be, like you said. I don't know that I want to call it perfect. What was the fourth question you asked me? There was one of those that I might. X Factor. What was the one before it? Emotional dude, they're all 5s. If anything, I guess you would go down to a 4.5 on the X Factor. But like, I kind of want to just give it 5s across the board.
I think that's kind of where we're at. Damn, that's crazy. It's not crazy at the same time, but it's crazy.
It's a damn good movie.
I can't complain about that. Like if somebody said so, 5s, a pure 5 is amazing. Like anything above a 4.5 from me is what I'm going to consider an amazing movie. I would say this is an amazing movie.
For what it's worth, still a 100% still a 100% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It shouldn't be 100%.
Still a 100% audience.
Who am I to say it shouldn't be 100%?
I'm saying, I think I give all 5s across the board, man.
That's crazy.
Are you doing the same thing?
I was trying to find one that I can knock down to a 4, so it could be a 4.8 instead of a 5. But I was gonna say the emotional connection, but just the mom scene sucked me in with Fontaine. The scene with Slick Charles seeing his clone and getting quiet, like when he hadn't been quiet the whole time, like that's emotional connection. Yo-Yo's, the scene where Fontaine and Slick Rick are frozen, and like that, he made you care about these characters. Like you did a good job.
Her scene with the hair, where you're like, shit, they got her.
Too.
That was rough. And then she pulls off the wig, like that was a big, because like I mean, I'm not a stand, like if I saw that in a theater, I would damn near clap. Like it was like on that level, like let's go.
Yeah. I can't. I mean, X Factor was the one where I hesitated too. But like, because again, I don't think there's anything in this movie that we haven't seen before. Would you say?
That's a good question. I would argue, as a whole, there's a lot of. I mean, like you said, there's the It Follows-ness of it all. That's very like dreamlike, very timeless. A lot of references to like Undercover Brother, to like black exploitation films, to 80s R&B and funk and stuff. Like, yeah, there are things that you've seen before, but I don't know that I've ever seen it all packaged together like this. And
that's why I think I left it as a 5, because like again, even if we've seen all the elements, we haven't seen them together in this way, and that makes it unique on its own. Plus, and
to be touching on a lot of conspiracies and stuff like that, like
yeah, and it's has a modern vibe to it as far as the conspiracy stuff. Like conspiracy stuff's been around forever, but the conspiracies change over time, and like it has the feel to where you could see it being tied to. I think the music itself was like a nice touch as far as the quality of the music that we listen to these days, and the way that the music influences life. Like these kids want to be running drills, and like it's like a culture thing where kids in the suburbs are like keeping track of who's killed who in these rap groups and stuff like that. That hit it on the head.
That's a really good point. I also don't know that we've seen a lot of movies touch on black conspiracy stuff.
Right.
I feel like we've seen a lot of conspiracy stuff, but I don't know. I don't know.
There's only especially not recently. I can't think of a ton. Would you consider Get Out a conspiracy type movie, or is that more of a one-off? It's not a big. I guess conspiracy needs to involve. Well, it is a network. They have a network of people like involved.
Yeah. It applies. It applies.
Okay. But yeah, and then again, X Factor can be great acting too, and I appreciated everybody's acting in this. So
we have 5 5s.
I think it's 5 5s.
And if you want to take it even a step further and give a combined rating, like what we could do is now it goes all the way to 50 because there's 2 of us. Okay. I mean, you're looking at a 50 out of 50.
Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, are we going to start the Hall of Fame?
It's a first ballot.
I might need to create a new list for like our joint ratings. That's what we might need to do. That
would be fun.
We can do that for this year. You might have to go back through all the movies of 2023 and figure it out.
I can do that.
Yeah, we'll put it together. But this is gonna be fun. I think going forward. I enjoyed this movie. If you're listening to this review up to this point, you probably enjoyed the movie as well. I think we're about an hour and a half. That's not bad. The movie was 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
So we're good. Anything? I think we said we're gonna do Talk to Me next week.
Yeah, hoping we'll do Talk to Me. I'm very excited. I think that's it's funny that we're getting them all kind of back to back because I mean the Blackening was just a month ago, and then this and Talk to Me. I'm hoping is like my other third of the big three. We've had some pretty good movies that I've enjoyed up to this point, but nothing that I was just like in love with. And then like getting like 3 in a row that I am in love with. That's pretty fun.
I'm not gonna complain. And again, I'm going to be out of town Sunday. I'll get back late Monday night, so we probably will record Tuesday if that works for you.
Ooh, Talk to Me does have a Rotten Tomato score already. I don't know if you want to hear it or not, though.
I don't.
Okay.
You'll tell me, especially with the way you said it.
I tried not to give anything away, but
yeah, I'll see it one way or another, but we probably won't be able to record till Tuesday if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's perfect.
When do you think you're going to see it?
I'm hoping Friday night.
I won't be able to do Saturday because me and Reese got to double up on Saturday. All right. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to record 3 podcasts on
That's too much.
Tyler, thank you again. It's been fun. It's going to be fun going forward. I'm looking forward to laying out the schedule so we can figure out what we're going to be doing going forward. And there's some other stuff we need to do too, but we'll worry about that later.
Yeah. Y'all go follow me on X. Okay. Now
X going to give it to you. Until next time, folks. Peace.